Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of SNL, Saturday Night Library Trivia. This series was created by Carrie and Amber at the Pal Branch, and I am your host Mandy, and I am also from the Pal Branch. I feel like you guys know the rules by now, but there are 3 rounds of trivia this week. You can grab a piece of paper and a pen if you want. Feel free to pause this video at any time. Don't cheat, and the prize for the winning person or team is that you are actually a librarian because today's theme is books. Very on brand. Round 1 is going to be Name That Book Cover. Round 2 is going to be general book questions, and round 3 is going to be heroes and villains. So I'm going to show you a book cover, and you have to name the good guy and the bad guy from that book. All right, here we go. Round 1, name that book cover. Question 1. On all of these, I have left the author name, so you just have to name the book, but the author is like a clue. Question 2. Question 3. This book is so famous, and literally, I don't know why I've never read it, but I never have. It was, I guess it was never an assignment, and I was like, meh. But yeah, this is like a super famous book that I have never read. Question 4. Question 5. I'll give you a clue. This one came out like within the last year and a half. Huge bestseller. We could not keep this book on the shelf, and it had like 1,000 holds at some point. It was crazy. Question 6. This is almost a brand new book too. It's been out for maybe the start of 2020, something like that, and it's been just a huge bestseller too. Everybody's reading this for their book club right now. Question 7. 50th anniversary would be a good clue on this one, if you can kind of do the math and go back. Question 8. This is a book that when I was a kid, everybody's mom was like, "You can't read that!" Question 9. Question 10. Question 11. I had to remove the titles from each of these book covers on Photoshop, and I'm very proud of myself because the title was right across her skirt, and I feel like I did pretty good. I feel like that looks pretty good. Question 12. This book and this movie are everywhere. It's all over the place. Literally, I did a curbside at the library today, and this was one of the books. It is all over the place. Question 13. Question 14. This one's kind of easy because the movie poster looks almost exactly like it, so yeah. Question 15. Same thing with this one. I think the movie poster looks like pretty close to this. Question 16. Question 17. I used the movie book cover for this one, so that, you know, a lot of times when they make a movie out of a book, they'll redo the cover to make it look more like the movie. So this is one of those, but I still love it. So here it is. Question 18. Question 19. I did not use the movie cover for this one because I thought it was too obvious. Look at my Photoshop, though. Woo! And question 20. This one's kind of easy, I guess, but this was the cover when I was in high school, so it's obviously like the older cover, but that's the one I have. That's the one I own. Alright, so round 2 is general book stuff. I'm going to do questions about a bunch of different books, and you just do the answer. This is all genres, kind of a mix of topics. Question 1. What color are Dorothy's slippers in Frank Baum's novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? So not the movie, not those pictured right there. That's maybe a clue. Question 2. What is Samuel L. Clemens' pen name? Question 3. What is Stanley Martin Lieber's pen name? Potatoes. Question 4. What is the name of the sequel to The Hobbit? No more clues. I almost gave it away. Question 5. What is the name of the magical land that C.S. Lewis created? This is also a picture, they're not really together in this picture, I don't think, but Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were actually friends and taught at, I think, Oxford together. In the comments, tell me if I'm wrong. But it's this, what a strange friendship. They're so different. At this point, people are like, oh, this is getting too hard. What is Edmond Dante's title in the novel by Alexander Dumas. Clue, it is also the title of the novel. So his, like, aristocratic title, and it's the title of the novel. Question 7. Name the animal that repeats nevermore in Poe's most famous poem. Question 8. The Thought Police first appeared in what novel written in 1949? Fun fact, I googled like terror on Giphy to try to get a gif of that would be terror, and this came up. I'm like, oh, he's not terrified. He's about to wreck somebody. Bruce Lee's about to destroy another person. That's not terror. He's so cool. Bruce Lee. Question 9. What is the name of the ship in Dracula by Bram Stoker? Fun fact, it's not the Falcon. Question 10. What is the name of the oldest sister in Little Women by Louisa May Alcott? Question 11. In Harry Potter, how many brothers does Ron have? This is maybe a little bit of a trick question. Question 12. What is the missing word in this title? So it's 1 blank years of solitude. Question 13. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man lives in which city? Everybody thinks this is the best gif of Spider-Man, but it's not. There's one from an Italian version, a live-action version of Spider-Man that's insane. I should have put it in here. It's amazing. Question 14. My favorite book, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, takes place in which American city? I googled Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil GIF, and Mr. Burns came up, and I don't know why. It's unrelated, but he is pretty evil, so there we go. If you've seen the movie of this book, it's okay, but the book is phenomenal. It's really, really good. So the next couple are the first line of several very famous books, and you just have to guess the book. I don't want to read this out loud because I'm going to try to do a fake Southern accent. Y'all just read it. It's fine. Don't overthink it. Question 16. He was an old man who fished alone in a skiff in the Gulf Stream, and he had gone 84 days now without taking a fish. I don't really like this author or this book, but I felt like the first line tells you exactly what you need to know. Question 17. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. If that's Privet Drive, I'm sorry. Question 18. When I wake up, the other side of the bed is cold. My fingers stretch out, seeking Prim's warmth, but finding only the rough canvas cover of the mattress. Question 19. All children grow up except one. This was Hillary's idea, was to put this quote in. It's a good one. Very smart. And question 20. Once there were 4 children whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. I will give you a clue. This book has already been mentioned in this trivia. Oh, also, I will not accept the series name for this. It needs to be the book. Okay, round 3, heroes and villains. So I'm going to show a book cover, and then you just need to say who the good guy and the bad guy is. It would be 2 points, one for the good guy, one for the bad guy. If you only get one, it would be 1 point. Some of these are subjective. We can't have a conversation about this. So I'm going to the best of my ability, do the answer that would have made sense to me. If there's an alternate answer, I'll try to mention that too. Question 1. Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. Question 2. Silence of the Lambs by Thomas Harris. I know what you're saying right now. I would go with the main... Yeah, I think I would accept 2 bad guys for this. I'm only accepting 1 good guy. Question 3. This is just an edition of, and this, I don't even know which one this specifically is, an edition of X-Men. Kind of picture like Silver Age-y kind of moment, I guess, if you're into comics. Again, don't overthink this, and there's probably like 2 possible answers for the good guy part of it. For bad guy, I'm looking for like main bad guy protagonist guy. Yeah. Question 4. This is a comic called The Killing Joke. Yeah. And I took out a character's name from the front cover. This is a DC comic. Don't overthink it. Question 5. Wizard of Oz by Frank L. Baum. Question 6. This is The Final Problem by Arthur Conan Doyle. Front cover might be a clue. Ugh. Question 7. The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Ugh. If anybody else was scarred by this book as a child, there's a version called The Taking Tree that's like sarcastic, and the tree takes revenge. So, like, yeah, it was good, like therapeutic moment. I hate this book, like true fact. I love Shel Silverstein. I hate this book. Question 8. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. If you've seen the movie, it's a lot of these. If you've seen the movie, you're gonna have an answer. Question 9. Misery by Stephen King. There's a couple. You guys know I like Stephen King at this point. There's a couple in here. Question 10. Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. You can see my Photoshop skills from that other picture now. Look at it go. Oh, I just gave it away. That's okay. I'm guessing you guys would have guessed anyway. Question 11. 2001, A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. Question 12, The Shining by Stephen King. There's a couple optional answers for this one too, so. Love the new cover, by the way. It's a great cover. Question 13, Goldfinger by Ian Fleming. Again, do not overthink this. Question 14, Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. Question 15, Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is a nice cover too. This might be a fan piece, but it's sweet. Question 16, The Little Mermaid by Hans Christian Andersen. Question 17, It by Stephen King. For the good guys, for this one I went kind of generic, so don't overthink it. You know everybody knows the bad guy, but for the good guy, I went a little generic on that one. Question 18, Jaws by Peter Benchley. He's like, now a spectacular motion picture from Universal. Like, yeah, it is. It's spectacular. Okay, question 19, Peanuts by Charles M. Schulz. I'm looking particularly for the dog and his nemesis. And question 20, Nosferatu by Joe Hill. If you have been watching the series on AMC, you're good. Alright, it's time for some book-like answers. Round 1, name that book cover. Number 1 was 1984. Big eye kind of motif. 2 was Catch-22, a book that I tried to read and failed to read. I do not enjoy it. 3 is Catcher in the Rye, obviously. Very super famous. I should read that one. 4 is A Clockwork Orange, a book and a movie that I hate. I hate both of them. 5 is Where the Crawdads Sing. That was a super, super hot book this year. 6 is The Dutch House. Again, this one's hot right now. Like, because we take curbside to everybody at the library, I kind of get to see what everybody's reading, and everybody's reading The Dutch House right now for sure. That and 2 Pattersons came out this week, I guess. Jeez. 7 is Fahrenheit 451, obviously. 8 is Flowers in the Attic, a book I was not allowed to read that I still have not read. It's apparently very dramatic. It rhymes. 9, obviously Great Gatsby. That was the, again, that was like kind of the cover from when I read it. So they probably have newer ones now. 10 is The Godfather. That book was pretty good. 11, Handmaid's Tale. I gave you guys that one earlier. 12 is The Hate You Give. Super. I like that this cover has even more awards than the last cover. Question 13, In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. This book scared me so bad that I had to, I locked myself in my apartment for a couple of days after I read this, I think. The new cover, too, if you guys have actually read it, is like this big, beautiful Kansas sky. It's foreboding because it's so pretty. Yeah, that book's amazing. 14, Jaws, obviously. 15, Jurassic Park. If this had been in the heroes and villains category, I looked at a list and they said that the villain in Jurassic Park was Hubris, which I thought was kind of funny. 16, Lord of the Flies. I actually haven't read this book. This was the version everybody read when I was in high school, but for some reason I didn't take that class. I don't know. 17, Princess Bride, obviously. It's a beaut. 18 is Speak, kind of a newer book. One of my coworkers just read it this week, though, and really liked it. So 19 is The Help. And 20, obviously, To Kill a Mockingbird. Alright, general book stuff. Dorothy's slippers in the book are actually silver, and they're like kind of a Dutch shape. They're like magic, and they conform to your foot, so they always fit perfectly and never wear out, and even though they're solid silver, they'll still bend. So, I asked Amber why they were silver in the book, and she said because it was like the silver and gold thing, like Follow the Yellow Brick Road, but then the shoes are silver, so. They still came from the Wicked Witch, though. 2, that's Mark Twain. You know. 3 is Stan Lee! He thought Lieber was a little too long, and he was going to be a great novelist instead of a comic guy. He ended up being a comic guy, but, yep, Stan Lee. 4, the sequel to The Hobbit is The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. I'm going to need The Fellowship of the Ring. Lord of the Rings would be the series, not the title. 5, Narnia was a C.S. Lewis creation. It's a beaut. 6, so Edmond Dante is the Count of Monte Cristo. Not a Monte Cristo. What's a sandwich? I forget there's a sandwich named sort of something like this. Something. Put it in the comments. It's the one that's like deep fried and has jam inside. This, though, it's a book. We're staying classy. 7 is The Raven, obviously. 8, The Thought Police were in 1984. I didn't realize that book was that old, though. It's from 1949. 9, the ship in Dracula is the Demeter. I had to look it up, though. I was like, oh, man. 10, the oldest sister in Little Women is Meg or Margaret. Okay, so Ron Weasley has 5 brothers. There are 7 siblings in his family, but one is him, and then the other one is the only sister, so he has 5. All right, the missing word in that was 100 Years of Solitude. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man lives in New York City. It's interesting because a lot of like comics are made in mythical cities or whatever, but Stanley really wanted it to be in New York, so it's in New York. Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, my favorite book, is in Savannah. It makes you really want to go to Savannah when you read it because it's lovely. And that's actually kind of a true crime book. I thought it was a novel. It's not. It's based on a true story, kind of true crime. Yeah, it's great. Love it. 15, this is the first line from Huckleberry Finn. 16, this is the first line from Old Man and the Sea. Kind of obvious, I guess, if you kind of put the pieces together. 17 is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm going to need Sorcerer's Stone because that's the first one in that series. 18 is Hunger Games. Prim is the kind of the clue there. 19 is Peter Pan. And 20 is The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And you didn't have to say Narnia, but you did have to say Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. All right, round 3, heroes and villains. We're about to get a little speculative here. Question 1, I'm saying it's Ichabod Crane and the Headless Horseman. He obviously has that kind of girlfriend. Ichabod is also not a great good guy. I guess if you said that he's not a good guy, I'll accept that, but I don't know who else the bad guy would be with the Headless Horseman. 2, I'm saying Hannibal Lecter and Clarice Starling. If you said Buffalo Bill and Clarice Starling, accepted. If you said Hannibal Lecter and the FBI, not accepted. 3, I'm going Magneto, Professor X. You could also say the X-Men versus Magneto. I need Magneto, though. 4 would be Batman and Joker. Kind of easy, but that's a real classic Batman comic. Definitely not for children. I found out when I read it. Not for kids. 5, I'm going Dorothy and the Wicked Witch. I would say Wicked Witch of the West. I know there's multiple Wicked Witches in the book, though, so, yeah, however you go. If you went the whole troop of all those guys as the good guys, yeah, that's fine. 6, Sherlock and Moriarty, obviously, tumbling off cliffs and such. 7, The Boy Has No Name. I'm going to call him Jerky McJerkface. And The Giving Tree is obviously the good guy. 8, it is going to be McMurphy and Nurse Ratched. If you said Big Nurse, also accepted. 9 is Annie Wilkes and Paul Sheldon. If you said Annie and Paul, accepted. If you said the author and the crazy lady, not accepted. That would be a no. 10, I am not a huge Handmaid's Tales fan, so you guys could argue with me on this one. I'm going Offred and Gilead as a society. If you picked specific, like, members of Gilead, okay. I'm going Offred as the main character, though. Argue with me in the comments. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan. And by not a huge fan, I mean I've never read the book, and I've only seen a little bit of the series. 11, Hal, and you could say, if you said the astronauts, okay, I'll accept it, actually, because this is, like, pretty old. But Dr. David Bowman seems to be the main character, in my opinion. 12, Jack Torrance, well, okay. Jack Torrance, bad guy. Wendy Torrance, good guy. If you said Jack Torrance, bad guy, Danny Torrance, good guy, okay. If you said the Overlook Hotel, bad guy, the Torrance family, good guy, I think I would accept that. It's a little bit esoteric, but let's go for it. Any other good bad guy combo, argue with me in the comments, because I've read The Shining a billion times and watched the movie even more times. But I'm going some combo of Jack Torrance as the bad guy and one of the other Torrances is the good guy. 13, James Bond, good guy. Auric Goldfinger, bad guy. Obviously, Goldfinger's in the title. Auric, his first name, too, is some reference to the periodic table name for gold, I believe. 14, I'm going to go Wendy, Captain Hook. Peter Pan definitely not, to me, isn't the good guy of that book, but, you know, argue it if you want to. Okay, so 15, you could go Van Helsing and Dracula. That's, I guess, what I would do. If you wanted to do the Doctor, oh, what is his name? Harknett? Harker, I think. If you want to do Dr. Harker and Dracula, okay. If you want to do, like, Minnie as the good guy and Dracula's the bad guy, like, okay. I mean, I think Dracula is the undisputed bad guy here. But I think the real, like, nemesis is Van Helsing. 16, Little Mermaid would be good guy, Sea Witch would be bad guy. If you've seen the Disney one, you already had that anyway. 17, so I'm saying Dairy Boys, and not specifically one of them, but the Dairy Boys, and Pennywise is obviously the bad guy. Question 18, I'm going the Shark and Chief Brody. If you said that the Shark is not the bad guy, I don't disagree with you. It's not, Peter Benchley in the book does not really say anything like super political about sharks and like overfishing or any, it's just a shark eating people. So I'm going the Shark and Chief Brody. If you have an argument, I would accept it. Well, I wouldn't accept it, but I would listen to it, because I think you could make an argument that the real bad guys are like the townspeople that are killing all the innocent sharks, if you want to go that way. Yeah. 19, it's Snoopy versus the Red Baron. Those guys are fighting all the time. And 20, Vic McQueen would be the good guy. Charlie Manx is the bad guy. He has a henchman whose name I forget, but he's not the main bad guy. I'm going Charlie Manx. So, how did you do? If you got 0 to 20, you didn't even see the movie. If you got 20 to 40, you saw the movie but did not read the book. And if you got over 40, you read the book too. Thanks for playing, everybody. Join us next week. Not sure what the theme's going to be yet. As always, if you have ideas for trivia that you would like to see, put it in the comments. See you later.